are you?
Me.
You're whitewashed. You're too loud and happy. You're a person of color, so my mom will let you spend the night. You're so different from the rest. As a Native American kid who was sent to a predominantly white school for better education, I know the feeling all too well. As a little girl, I fell short to the courtesy bias statistic, which was exemplified through me consistently reminding others that my parents were cops and that I wanted to be a lawyer when I grew up. A child should never have to hear these things. A child should never have to defend themselves from negative stereotypes or false identity labeling that has been placed on their people, especially before getting to know them. Identifying the problem in cultural identity for Native Americans is more complex than most can fathom. Native American people struggle with the concept due to fully not understanding the impacts of cultural identity in itself, generational trauma, and the barriers placed before them. Terms: culture, the customary belief, social forms, and material traits of racial, religious, or social groups. Identity, the distinguishing character or personality of an individual. Native American, a member of any indigenous peoples of the Western Hemisphere. While trends, money, and fame may offer temporary satisfaction, they often leave people feeling empty and disconnected from themselves. In the long run, many people of color tend to lose their identity due to the desire of wanting to fit in and hopes of being treated equally. This is the idea explained by Victoria Wilson. Your cultural identity is a critical piece of your personal identity that develops as you absorb, interpret, or adapt and reject the beliefs, values, behaviors, and norms of the communities in your life. When one is not capable of understanding their purpose, but instead becomes wrapped up in the norms, they become lost. This is why having an understanding of your culture will create a grounded picture for you as who you are as an individual and how influential the world can and cannot be to you. If a Native American person doesn't know or understand the spiritual concept of who they are and where they come from, it may be difficult to grasp one's true identity. As Native American people, we believe we are intended to be protectors of Mother Earth and all living things. The past decades, we have seen an increasing in Native American people who are struggling to understand who they are and where we belong in the world. This is because our identity was forcibly taken from us. We no longer live the lives we were naturally intended to live. The impacts of the past created generational trauma upon Native American people, which has led to a significant loss in cultural identity. Being born Native American means being born into depths of generational trauma. Although the act of extinction didn't exceed, Native American people struggle with forms of generational trauma from individual identity, the acceptance of false cultural norms, to the low number of language speakers today. We see these traumas affect Native American people all around Turtle Island, around the world. These traumas have and continue to create barriers for Native American people. One of the biggest hurdles today is being restricted to reservations, with only minimal people still being able to make it out. This is because reservations have seen an abundance of drug and alcohol use. This breaks the culture of who we are as people. It was an addiction that was used against our ancestors in efforts to sign treaties. Studies have proved that addiction can be passed down through genetics, through generations. In 1985, a study was done on 2,000 Native American youth by a special assistant to the Native American Indian Education Director's Office, Velma Garcia Mason. Her study concluded that Native youth who participate in drug or alcohol usage have little to no understanding or identification of their culture, tribal values, and other tribal traditions. Those who did not use a negative substance were shown to have a family member or members with strong values in upholding a traditional life. Another negative barrier is the poor perception of Native American people in the public eye and on mass media platforms. This is explained by Peter Levette and other students in the article Frozen in Time, the impacts of Native American media representation or identity on self-understanding. They explain this idea has also created many negative stigmas, stereotypes, and certain representations on Native American people that different groups of people have been taught or created themselves. Racism. So what are the solutions moving forward? With the evolution of Indian country, Native Americans can proudly and safely find their cultural identity again. Due to the support of the government in the past years, with legislature, bills, and other supporting things like the Native American Indian Religious Freedom Act and the 1990s Native American Language Act, the U.S. has given support, legal protection to the Native American peoples in learning their language and protecting their traditional ceremonies and traditions. Other ways Native American people are able to create a better cultural identity is through positive role modeling. Whether that be in forms of friends of friends, social media platforms, or networking. When a kid sees or knows of a person who has been through similar circumstances or hardships as them, they can see that they are capable of more than the life that they've been offered. Last but most importantly, if a person is struggling with their cultural identity and traditions, it is important to ask for guidance. For some, setting aside their ego and the embarrassment of not already knowing may be what's keeping them from reaching out. As that little girl who grew up in a predominantly white school for better education, I'm here to tell you, if you don't know, ask. If they don't know, dig. It's essential to prioritize what truly matters to us as individuals and strive to live authentically, even if it means going against the norms of the time. Knowing who you are and where you come from will help you find your way in the world that is made up of social norms. As a human, we are all born to make a difference and share different ideas and perspectives about the world. When you know who you are, your voice will be strong. You become grounded in all that you do and all that you talk about in this world. So I'm going to ask again, do you know who you are? Well, Hamatakiaki. Dakotia Shinudutawi Amakiapi Wasichu Shayla Davis Amakiapi. Hello, my Dakota name is Red Shell Woman and my English name is Shayla Davis. I proudly come from Dakota, Arikara, and Anishinaabe people. I was raised by my aunt and uncle who both have military and police backgrounds. It took me a long time to get that down, to understand where I belonged and that I could live in both of worlds. By understanding the impact of cultural identity, that little girl is no longer a statistic to courtesy biasing. Thank you.